Welcome and thank you for joining us for the second half hour, The Factor Uncensored tonight. After months of campaigning, Vice President Kamala Harris put a bow on her 2024 presidential campaign with a hopeful concession speech. Today, the Vice President told her supporters today to keep fighting despite her loss.
Do not despair. This is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves. This is a time to organize.
Earlier today, she called the president-elect, Donald Trump, to officially concede and promise to help during the transition. The vice president's loss comes 7 years after another woman, Hillary Clinton, vied for the White House. Tonight, we ask if America is ready for a woman to lead as president. Will the country ever be ready, and especially a woman of color? Joining us to talk about this, Lewis Hunter, Melissa Wilson, a member of the Urban Conservatives of America, and HISD trustee, Kathy Bluford Daniels. Glad to have you all here. Melissa, let's start with you. Do you think America will be ever ready for a female leader, especially first leader, then especially a woman of color?
Absolutely. I think America is ready for a female leader. I think that people spewed a lot of misconception when it came to this particular race. In this particular race, you have a candidate who actually has a track record. And so that track record in the eyes of many Americans, especially independents, was not that great, especially when it came to the number one issue. One of the number one top issues and that's the economy. Lots of people were struggling. So I think people made it more about gender than actual platform. And so in this particular case, we just had a candidate that Americans were not sold on, as far as economy and a number of issues as it related to the campaign.
All right, Lewis, let's hear from you.
I mean, we've got a history of women running for the presidency, whether or not it was Shirley Chisholm or Geraldine Ferrara for vice president, Sarah Palin. And Shirley Chisholm actually did pretty good. She came in 6 of 14 in the Democratic primaries. I don't think that people have a problem with a woman running for president. Now, a woman of color, as in this case, I think that part of why she lost is because white women did not vote for her en masse. So, you know, there was an article called...
It was just over 50% of white women voting for her. You think it should have been more?
You would think it would have been. And there's an article that was written that says the sisterhood is complicated. You know, so I don't think it was black men, because black men, by sheer virtue of number, could not have pushed it. Let's be real.
20% of black men, according to the statistics.
Kamala got her ass whooped like the Dallas Cowboys at home. Let's be real, all right? This wasn't like a slight victory. You know, this wasn't a nail biter. She got beat pretty convincingly. And it wasn't because of, and from what I've been hearing, you know, the black men did not go out and support.
All right. Kathy, let's hear from you. Your thoughts. First of all, will America ever accept a woman, then a woman of color, to be the leader of this free nation?
I don't think it'll happen in the next 10, 14 years. And the reason
do you think it's because it's a woman?
I absolutely do. I absolutely think it's because it's a woman. I was on a school board with 9 women, and I saw the differences and the combativeness amongst the women. 9 women school board. But to answer your question, no, America's not ready.
And when you say that, go back to the school board, combativeness. What happened there? Were they fighting among each other, or were they not?
Yes, there was dissension. And one thing about it is, a woman of color, we have experienced things that nobody else has experienced. And we protected our children, we protected our men, we've ran our households. So to say or to imply that she was not able to lead this country, women have been leading all of our life. We're resilient. Black women are resilient. And yes, there was dissension sometimes amongst the women on the school board. Nobody can understand an ABW, an angry black woman, but an angry black woman. And so having to try and control that continuously on the school board, then it often spills into dissension and aggressiveness in some cases. But as far as the selection, we had the best candidate here 8 years ago with Hillary Clinton experience. She'd been in the White House 8 years with her husband, and then she was the Secretary of the United States, Secretary of State. All that experience, and people still did not vote for her. The Electoral College, rather anyway, did not.
The last panelist made a great comment. He said that masculinity is dead with the Democratic Party, you know, and I agree with that. I think that she did not speak to my interest as she should have as a heterosexual working class man. She didn't speak to my interest. And when she did speak to my interest or called herself speaking to my interest, she didn't go on the same, you know, she went on a podcast, a popular podcaster show. No, go to the same national networks on the national stage and you speak to me as a black man if you want to speak to me. And when you do, don't mention marijuana. That's not my interest. You know, as a black man, I don't care about abortion. It's not my business. I can't get an abortion. I don't care about immigration. I care about my personal interest. I retire in 5, maybe 7 years. I'm worried about my health care, my retirement, taxes, inflation. Those are things that speak to me. I don't care about gender identity. I don't care about being nice. Racism, there was an ad on the radio that said, Donald Trump seeks to put you back in slavery if he could. Do you honestly believe, does anyone believe that I would make my feet hurt and I'm a gun owner? It's not going to happen. So why would I be feared into voting for someone? I need my interests met.
And to that point too, because the gun ownership, because one thing about it is when the comment was made that she got her ass beat, we fight back and we pull our guns.
All right. And Melissa, your last 20 seconds here.
Okay, so I will say that we're making all this about gender, but no one's talking about how this campaign was not taken serious to begin with. You got Megan Thee Stallion twerking on a stage, and that doesn't resonate with me. I have young girls. That is not what I want for my girls to see. You got celebrities speaking on her behalf, and to think that we are going to conform to a celebrity opinion was a total slap in the face. And so this campaign was not taken serious, and even me as a black woman, I did not vote for her.
All right. We want to thank you guys for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored.